My 42 female husband, 42 male, has informed me he intends to go on a gaycation with his brother-in-law, 35 male, in Ibiza. How do I handle this?
Took a pill.
Wait,
Bees.
so your brother then?
Your
No, it doesn't.
with his brother,
Could be his
with
sisters.
yeah, could be another
Oh,
sibling's
that's
brother
true.
or husband. Yeah,
Either way, weird.
Strange.
weird. All right,
Yeah.
Maybe he's
Buckle
been
in, boys.
bisexual, but if he's, that seems like cheating. I mean,
Yeah, that's the
Mhm.
main concern I have.
same,
Yeah.
same. All right, buckle in, boys. This is a long ass post. So me and my husband have been happily married for about 16 years, give or take. We both have stable careers, good family life, and are fairly fortunate despite the cost of living racking up in the UK right now. We have 2 boys, 15 and 10, and up until this Sunday, thought we had it pretty good. We argue sometimes, of course, but never gotten too bad, and we have pretty decent sex life with some exploration, but I won't get into that. Long and short is, on Sunday, just after I dropped our boys off at the friends, my husband asked me if we had the house alone, and more importantly, do I have a minute? I said yes, and he sat me down, then got out this printed poster for some sort of orgy and started explaining to me the concept of a gaycation.
I like the idea of him being like, I need to talk to you, bring out a poster and then explaining
Orgies.
gaycation and orgies. Like, all right. Not where I thought
I was
this
like,
conversation was going, but
We going? No.
where the roller coaster of emotion the OP must be on. Are the kids home? No. All right. You got a minute? Yeah.
gaycation.
So yeah. Yeah. I want to
Okay.
fuck people that aren't you.
I'm a little
And
lost.
a lot of them.
How it's where straight men go to somewhere with sun, sand, and booze and become gay for the duration of the trip. But that's fine because it doesn't actually count. Because what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation.
This is the fucking Ohio trip or whatever, the Utah trip where he went to the higher
the
altitude.
change. Basically,
I'm so confused because it's like, how is this? How are there enough men to have this demographic?
There are enough
you know what I mean?
repressed men out there.
I know, but like, how do you convince yourself you're
like
straight?
Andrew Tate, bro. I feel like
You
all his
wanna-
fans are just repressed.
Well, I'm
I
sure.
guess, but then why aren't people just like, oh, it must be like bisexual?
I mean, yeah, I that's the question I always have, Sean.
Yeah, why? What's so bad about being? Oh, actually, I think I like both.
Yeah,
But it's crazy to just be like, no, I'm fucking straight. I just want to go on a gaycation.
yeah. I
And then
don't.
come back and be straight.
What don't you understand?
I don't know why you're confused that a straight man would want to go on a gaycation. It's just to get it out.
Also, it's not
and then I'll
cheating.
come back and be straight.
Get it out, get it in.
I
and I'll
don't
be
think
straight.
that's how it works. I don't think that's how it works.
It's not cheating. It's on the island. It doesn't count there.
It doesn't count.
That's like going to Vegas and being like,
What happens in
what
Vegas?
what happens in Vegas?
Did I
stays
lose
in
our
Vegas.
mortgage? I don't know.
I was just completely silent and mortified. Even more so when he said he was looking into booking a trip to Ibiza next year with his brother-in-law. And Sean, to describe that, his sister's husband. So that kind of
Oh,
clarifies.
okay.
To
That's better.
experience it for himself. When he finally let me speak, I just said, I need him to be clear with me. Is he gay? Because if yes, that's okay. But we need to figure out what happens going forward. I didn't let myself get angry or upset. I was just stunned. He swore up and down how he's not gay and he's 100% attracted to women and of course still loves me and our boys. So I said, well, do you think you're bi? Maybe. And he got very defensive, saying how I need to drop the accusations and that this is the beauty of the gaycation. It allows straight men to experience gayness without actually being gay and how it's like going to an aquarium.
I just. In what world? Are you fucking the fish? How is this anything like an aquarium?
Well.
Going to an aquarium doesn't make you a mermaid or some shit.
Does he fucking go to the petting part of the fucking
That's the most insane thing
finger
I've ever
blast
heard
a
on this
stingray?
podcast.
What are you doing? It's just like an aquarium. I'd be like, what kind of
fishes
fucking
now, bro."
aquariums are you going to? And why are they letting you do these things?
Josh is just losing it,
Fuck.
bro.
Ringo is mad because I'm laughing so hard.
like an aquarium. That the conversation would have stopped. It would have been like, all right, explain that one. Because
What do you
fuck
mean?
You putting your worm
Yeah.
in those fish?
What have you done to these poor animals?
And again, he was adamant he doesn't find men's bodies or genitalia exciting at all, but he needs to experience this apparently.
Okay, like what is the art? Like,
Why
take
go?
a step back.
It's like going to Disneyland and not going on any of the rides. I'm just here for the popcorn. You go anywhere.
No, but
for
he
that.
openly says he needs to experience it, and experiencing it isn't just watching.
Okay, I guess
Is to get
I'm going to
experiencing
Disney.
it.
I'm going to Disneyland, and I hate roller coaster rides. Is that better?
And riding every ride,
Yeah.
but also going it alone. I mean, I really hate Disney. I'm just gonna go and ride all the roller coasters.
Yeah.
And no, I don't love roller coasters.
With my brother-in-law, who also hates roller coasters.
Also, brother, it doesn't matter if you're straight, bisexual, gay. You're cheating on your wife. I mean, I don't.
I think this is the moral of the story for this
I mean,
one.
regardless.
I said, well, I'm really not comfortable because even if he was bi, this would be explicitly cheating on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what you guys are saying. And he got angry and reiterated, he's not. Because that's the beauty of the gaycation. I just had
This
enough
man
and
thinks
left
all
the room.
marketing is truth. It's just like, I mean, why else would they market it that way if it wasn't
Red Bull
the
does give you
absolute
wings.
100%
Okay,
true?
guys.
I ignored him for the rest of the day, but we spoke at tea where I again asked him, why does he want to do this so bad if he's not gay? He said how he's interested in how gay men's life differ to straight men's, and that's unfortunately, once the gaycation begins, it's simply impossible for a man to resist and he must surrender himself, mind, body, and soul to the gaycation or be destroyed.
I'm confused.
What is
I've
happening?
never been more confused. I think he just
This
wants
sounds like
to
a cult.
fuck.
Yeah. If you want
But
to understand
I think it's
gay men, there's tons of like podcasts, books you could read. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to go to a gaycation if that's truly your intention of understanding.
I don't.
And if you want to find out for yourself and not cheat on your wife and just be like, hey, I think I want to explore this part of me. It sounds like your wife is okay with separating at this point. Like, don't fucking cheat.
Yeah.
I really can't put into words how surreal it was because he was speaking so matter-of-factly and he again insists that this is a thing that straight men do all the time and how he's actually doing it a bit late. I just said to him, if he has any love for me then, he can't go ahead with this, and if he does, the marriage will be dead. And we didn't speak anymore after that. Since then, he's mentioned no more of it, but somehow, and this is what scares me a lot too, that decision generally seems to be tearing him up. He didn't go into work on Monday because he told them he just felt too ill and he just looks distraught every time I see him. I really don't think he's wholly gay though, and I can absolutely believe he's bi, but I'd rather we talked about that in a healthy way rather than this incredibly weird denialism around going on a sex holiday to Ibiza. Has anyone known straight guys to do this and come back and just go back to being straight? Like, surely that can't be a thing that happens. I'm so out of my depth here and I just don't know how to even initiate the conversation. And for the record, I also haven't mentioned to his sister yet, and I don't know how to even break it to her. Thanks for the help. I just don't even want to think so being able to get this out there has helped even just a little bit.
I'd be calling up the sister-in-law
Yeah.
immediately, being like, "Yo,
Yo.
has your husband talked to you about this shit? Because I feel gaslit."
Yeah.
Because what the fuck? I mean, first off, and sounds like OP's with us. If you're bi, dude, just say that. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's fine. It's 2025. It's okay. You know what I mean? But I just don't understand. Like,
How he's like,
because I think if you want to fuck a dude, I think you're. I mean,
Well-
I'm not an expert in any way, but I feel like if you're straight, you don't want to fuck the person of the same sex,
no, it's clearly him in denial of some sort. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Like I'm not claiming to be a genius,
No.
but I think I understand that part.
Yes. That part is clear, I think. Yeah, which is, again, fine. But that's not the issue here. The issue is you going against your wife's wishes and having sex with someone else. Doesn't matter their gender.
Yeah.
a
It's
bunch
cheating
of
regardless.
a bunch of someone else's by the sounds of it. With your brother-in-law, which is also just a strange
Weird.
like thing.
I'd be
added.
looking at y'all every time.
Yeah.
there something?
Yeah, because that's basically family at this point.
Yeah.
So it's just,
I mean, I guess you can go to
it's
the
icky to
orgy
me.
and not
And then just be on opposite ends
sides.
of.
Still. Yeah. Anyway,
I've never experienced an orgy, but I
You
don't
don't
know.
say,
I imagine
Sean.
it's just like, how do you know who's where? You know what I mean?
just bodies flying everywhere.
Yeah.
there's so much swords.
But yeah, I like so that this is something he needs to work out. I worry he's gonna do it anyway.
I would go to therapy.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely needs it to.
I would definitely try couples therapy just so they could just be like, look, if you're bisexual, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you need to explore that, just know that that's why you guys are splitting up, is because you want to explore your bisexuality. Nothing wrong with that, but obviously you can't explore that if you're married.
Yep.
Well, if your marriage partner is like not comfortable with that.
Yes.
So like,
Yeah.
let's just keep it. Let's base ourselves in reality. Let's break up and then do our thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's honestly admirable how calm OP is, because it's just like, hey, is there a potential that you're gay? And the husband says no. Is there a potential that you're bi? Husband still says no. And it's just like, okay, well, it
The
seems
math
like
ain't mathing.
the math ain't mathing, but there's some repressed feelings that you don't like, you haven't, that you want to explore, but you're hiding this big old like freaking gaycation / orgy. You're hiding it as this guy's to cheat, that's the thing that's like fucking everyone up. It's like, even if like, let's say it wasn't like a gaycation, it was just like a regular vacation. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go and go fuck somebody else, but it doesn't count because it's like a planned orgy.
I'm in Ibiza. It doesn't count. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still cheating. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the ultimate like
I think
foundation of it
your
all.
dick is still in somebody else. So
Yes.
it's just
Exactly.
by, it's not, I'm not comfortable with that per se. So if that's what you want to do, go do you, but we need to break up.
Yeah.
All right. So there are some updates, there are some edits, and there's some relevant comments as well. And then I'll go jump into the update. Told you this one's gonna be kind of long.
Okay.
Edit. Wow, this blew up. This has been incredibly sobering, and I think I'm now confirmed what I already knew to be the case. The marriage is dead, one way or another. In a way, I was in denial myself about that. And I've contacted my sister-in-law, and she initially screamed at me, calling me a liar, and even insinuated I was trying to steal her husband. Baby girl, your
He's not.
brother-in-law is stealing her husband.
Yeah.
She rang me back here. She rang me back shortly after, apologized, and admitted she was in deep, deep shock. So that, understandable.
Good for her.
I have asked my parents to look after their boys, and we're going to meet tomorrow to discuss this deeper. And I have also texted my husband and told him he will need to make an alternative accommodation arrangements, but he will not be sleeping here tonight, and a bag will be waiting for him. Not sure if the mods want to lock the post or not, but I think we've got my answers. Thank you all for the kind words, especially Champion Flight, who really gave me the good dose of reality I needed. There are some PS. I don't think that's important. We laughed about the aquarium shit, but they put, my husband explained the aquarium thing in that
I'm all ears.
my husband has explained the aquarium thing in that it's a bit like that. You go there and you observe the fishes. You even get a bit up close, but you never actually enter the water. And they put get emotionally invested or become a fish. And they put gay. So it doesn't really count. It was a very bizarre analogy, and I pointed out it still makes no sense, and he just got more in a huff and how I just don't get it, and frankly, I still don't.
Okay, hear me out. Go to a gay club if that's... No one's forcing you at a gay club to have sex with them. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I think
It's
he
not-
wants to.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what I would have said as the partner. Been like, all right, well, if it's truly like an aquarium,
No.
the gaycation, you're forced to fuck. You could just go to a gay club and observe.
Even in his analogy, he was just saying like you don't get emotionally attached. I think he's still fucking in this analogy.
He's fucking the fish, you think?
No, not the fish.
No.
This is why this analogy is terrible.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If after that analogy explanation, I would have been like, all right, well, if that's truly what you want to keep it.
He's saying
like
that
an-
he's saying you even get a bit up close. So being up close is like the motion of fucking. but you never actually enter the water. And that's the part where you're saying to get emotionally invested. So I think the act of fucking is still there.
Yeah, I think he's still
Jesus
including
fucking
that.
Christ.
Yeah. The
I think this
aquarium
guy
part
also
is weird
fucks
because it's
fish,
like,
you know what I mean? I think he's finger blasting that stream. Man.
Jesus.
He needs to be arrested.
So there are some relevant comments, and then I'll go on to the update. So commenter 1, your husband isn't proposing a gaycation. He's proposing cheating on you with men
Yes.
while using magical thinking to pretend it doesn't count.
Magical
We've
thing.
been saying that the whole time.
Yeah.
The fact that he's planning this with his sister's husband makes it even more disturbing. His bizarre explanation about surrendering mind, body, and soul isn't straight man's curiosity. It's someone desperately trying to justify exploring his sexuality while keeping his heterosexual marriage. His depression about not being able to go isn't about missing a vacation. It's about being forced to confront his sexuality without his convenient, what happens in Ibiza stays in Ibiza excuse. His meltdown over not going shows how desperately he wants to avoid facing this reality. To which OOP put, I read over this multiple times, and I guess the worst part is I know you're completely right. And then some people are saying OOP should consider about the divorce. OOP put, I wanted to avoid the divorce option, but I guess is the only option, isn't it? And then another commenter put, so this is just a thought, but I'm wondering if he has really planning on doing the gaycation or if this was just a cover to try to get you to agree to it. What if the real plan was to get with women while he's down there? And OOP put, that I hadn't really thought of that, to be honest. And now that thought terrifies me. From the way he was talking about men, the fact he had a poster for a gay orgy, I mean, it's one hell of a bluff, surely.
Guys, that
And
doesn't
then-
make any sense with the fish
Yeah.
analogy. Come on.
Nope.
We're talking crazy now.
Yeah.
Just
And
kidding.
then last commenter put, tell him you are going to have a straightcation while he's gone and you're going to surrender mind, body, and soul to other men. Honest to God, if my husband proposed this to me, I'd use his time away to pack up, move out, and have divorce papers waiting for him. So now the update. And this was pretty recent. This was November 28, 2024. So not too far ago.
Whole year ago.
So, yeah. Oh my God. So, when I last posted, I'd contacted my husband to tell him he wouldn't be staying at home tonight and a bag would be waiting for him. And as you can imagine, we argued quite badly. I won't go into the specific details, but no, I'm 100% on board with the fact, at a minimum, he's bi. Might even be gay altogether. We've had arguments in the past, but I've genuinely never seen him have such childish tantrum before. Screaming about how I just don't understand the gaycation. And they put absolutely despise that phrase now. And insinuating I'm actually homophobic because I refuse to allow him to participate in this cultural exchange with the gay community.
How can you be homophobic if he's not gay or bi?
I thought you were going to sing that one rap.
The Drake?
What?
Yeah.
The Drake lyric?
I don't know that
Yeah.
one.
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
Oh.
I thought that's where you were going with.
No,
I was like, Josh.
I would not.
That song is so good.
Oh my
Is that
God.
that's not a Drake song, is it? That's
No, it's a British rapper song.
He might have
Oh, no,
featured
yeah.
on it.
No,
I
Drake
don't
just
know.
had another song where he said something about if you're a lesbian, I'm a lesbian or something like that. Or
Interesting.
that's why we listen to Kendrick. yo.
I think it's one of his old songs. He says, like, are any of y'all into girls like I am, let's be honest.
Oh
Mm.
no. He has an on the college whatever, or what is it? Certified Lover Boy?
Oh, I didn't listen to the album. That shit was trash.
It was trash.
Well, I listened to it and then it was trash. A lot of you said to ask him if I'd be acceptable if the roles were in reverse, and I did say, would it be acceptable if I went and slept with the other guys during that week? Like fucking clockwork, he was very angry and offended, saying it's completely different because a gaycation means nothing, and what happens on the gaycation stays on a gaycation.
I think
This
he's
guy
now,
is-
I think he's now being homophobic and saying gay sex doesn't count.
Could be.
It's gone
Maybe.
full circle.
So doesn't actually count. Whereas I just be straight up cheating.
That reminded me of what was her name? Kelly Osbourne, where she was trying to be so anti-racist that she became racist. What did she say? She said, well, Donald Trump, if you deport all the Mexicans, who's going to clean the toilets? And everybody was like, whoa, what the fuck? What the
Hey,
fuck, dude?
yo.
Yo, you're trying to be so
Oh.
woke that you're anti-woke, dude.
Holy
What? Yo, she got fucking
Ugh.
blasted, rightfully so.
And deservingly so.
Deservingly so.
Holy fuck.
Well, I turned it around on
It's crazy because she did it on a show with like co-hosts, and all the co-hosts were like, "Whoa!"
Was this The View? Because I didn't
Yeah,
know
it was
that.
on the
So I
View.
like,
Everybody was
yeah.
like, "Whoa!"
Well, I turned it around on him. No, but you see what happens in Manchester stays in Manchester. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't count. It's like bird watching. And I think it got through to him. He went all quiet and then started crying, admitting the thought of me sleeping with another man is destroying his heart. But relationship needs sacrifices. So agreed, while in tears, that when he goes on the gaycation, I'll get
dead.
1 week in Manchester to do whatever I want. He doesn't want me to, but that's fair in a twisted way, he supposed. And I told him to get out of my house. Thankfully, he left without a fight. And I know it's incredibly petty, but I also drained the joint bank account, and they put legal in UK, so he couldn't try to use it against me. And about an hour later, I got rang up by his mom, who just screamed and screamed at me about being a cheating whore
What?
and how I was a horrible.
Holy.
And what about the kids? Wait a minute.
Excuse me.
What?
Actually, your son wants to go on a gaycation.
He wants to sleep with other people. I put up a hypothetical to prove how dumb it was.
Mhm.
And he agreed to it just so he could cheat on me.
Yeah.
When I finally got my composure back, I just said, ask your son about the gaycation. And obviously at first she got angry, but I said, no, just ask him about the gaycation.
And your daughter.
He'll explain, but she called me a fucking joke and hung up. Later on, getting into the evening, got another phone call from her in floods of tears. And she was very apologetic, and I told her she doesn't need to be the one to apologize.
I
She
will
was so
say,
upset.
at least that family is like,
They can see their errors.
they blow up, but they're like, yeah, you know what? I was in the wrong.
Yeah,
My
you're
apologies.
right, you're right. She was so upset. She put father-in-law on the phone, who, while he sounded calm, I could just sort of tell he was on the warpath. Again, very apologetic, and said he overheard the phrase and asked my husband. And husband initially said, "No, it's nothing," before explaining how it's a modern thing man to do, and gave them the same spiel about how what happens on the gaycation.
Check out this poster.
Man cannot resist the gaycation, and how a man must surrender to the gaycation. Father-in-law just said they told him to leave or they'd call the police. Don't care where he goes, but he wasn't staying there. And husband tried to call me while I was on the phone, but I just ignored it. And father-in-law just said he was so sorry for me and they have my corner in this, so that's one thing. And I told them that to be there for their daughter because it sounds like brother-in-law is also involved. And father-in-law just said he had to go because he was so angry. Got a text from my husband after the phone call, which was all weirdly rambly, saying about how I'd abused the gaycation to destroy his marriage and destroy his life. Buddy, you brought
Dude,
this on yourself.
You kept using it.
Yep. And again insinuated that I was homophobic for doing such a thing, and told him we'll talk when he grows up, and he blocked his number. I took a day off from work myself to have the locks changed this morning, so that's $500 euros. Oh my god, I can't tell what euros and
Dang,
pounds are.
to
But
change
sorry.
the locks?
Was that?
Yeah, that
Just
seems
to
like
change
a
the
lot.
locks? That seems like a lot of money.
I don't know. Or at least I know he won't be coming back. I'm
I
going
think
to
you
look
got
into.
ripped off, OP.
I think so,
Sorry.
too.
That's crazy. I think that's
I'm going
wild.
to look into how to proceed with a divorce, and then we'll move on from there. Oh, of course, there's also the brother-in-law. So I haven't met with sister-in-law yet, and we're going to maybe try tomorrow, but we did talk over the phone, and I eavesdropped on the conversation with her husband, where she put her phone on speaker and I went on mute. Her husband got home earlier and just said to him, "Can you please explain what gaycation is?" She told me afterwards she was praying he'd look confused or just be like, "What?" or anything like that. But instead, he just sat her down and explained that a gaycation is a new thing where straight men go to gay hotspots and participate in gay sex acts, but it doesn't count because there's no investment and because what happens in the gaycation stays on the gaycation. Dude, this sounds like a fucking cult
It
right
does.
now.
They
It
can't
does, 'cause
resist.
how does everyone just believe that?
Oh
like,
my God.
oh yeah,
What's-
it's magic.
It's just insane.
He said it like writing down angry thoughts and putting them in a drawer. You never had to see them again. Whole time, sister-in-law is in tears as he just calmly bats off the same points my husband did about how it doesn't count, and he even did the whole "it's impossible to resist, you must surrender or be destroyed" shit.
It might be a cult if it's
might
the same.
be.
I seriously think they must be speaking to a dominatrix or something, because surely neither of them are that into this to actually make that up their own. I really don't want to go into what was discussed for her sake, but it did become very apparent to me that the brother-in-law is into sissy hypno porn. At times conflated that with the concept of a gaycation. I don't even know what the fuck that
What
is.
No idea.
is that? And you're the
I'm-
expert. So
I'm not that much of an expert, I guess.
we have said we are the three most vanilla dudes on the internet.
Even my consumption is vanilla, brother. There was this utterly surreal moment where sister-in-law is just trying to wrap her head around this while also in floods of tears, and he explains, so genuinely, so matter-of-factly, that for most men, the gaycation is either a one-time or annual thing, but some men go on the gaycation for years, and others simply never return because they use hypnosis and mind control to be totally feminized into a state of permanent pseudo-gayness. She said in disbelief, surely if you're taking up the ass willingly because you want to, that makes you gay. And he said no, because that's the beauty of a gaycation. You can do all this gay stuff, but you don't interact with the wider gay life experience. She asked him if the sissy stuff is what he wanted, and he said, not on a long-term basis, and was adamant this is something all straight men do, but she wouldn't get it because she's a woman.
I can promise you it's not.
Yeah.
We don't get it.
Then there were more insinuations of homophobia. Well, that marriage is dead too, I suppose. The whole ordeal ended when she said to him he has a choice to make, and he said no. He doesn't need to make this choice because the beauty of the gaycation is that
That's
it
crazy.
allows
That
him
is
to keep his
insane.
marriage
This is a cult.
because it doesn't count. She said that's not the choice. The choice is whether he's leaving the house that night or she is. The only good thing he did was leave. Me and sister-in-law spoke about it after that, and I'm just still utterly stunned. And I understand she's gone to her parents for the support, and what exactly did we do to have our lives destroyed in such an abrupt, bizarre, embarrassing way? And for some advice, I'm going to look at devices and bank statements to see if I can find any definitive proof of cheating. After that, I suppose I figure out how I tell the boys why their father won't be coming home. There's a slight edit. Spoke to other sister-in-law, and they put my husband's family, his older sister, him, younger sister, blah, blah, and gave her a skimmed-down version of it. She asked her husband, and thankfully he was deeply confused, but then mentioned about 2 years ago at a birthday party, he was approached by my husband and brother-in-law about signing up to some online boot camp around BDSM cross-dressing. He assumed they were taking the piss out of him, so told them to fuck off and never really thought of it again. The fact that this has been going on for that long is making me want to throw up. And then last bit of comments, and we're closing this off, boys. Top commenter 1, your husband and brother-in-law are deep in shared delusion that destroyed 2 families. Their identical talking points about surrender and destruction prove this was coordinated. They're not just planning to cheat, they're already involved in some online community that warped their thinking. The fact that they both instantly launched into the same script about gaycation shows this isn't that spontaneous. You made the right call joining the account and changing the locks. Their attempts to flip this into accusations of homophobia shows how desperately they're trying to avoid responsibility. In this identical language, the bizarre aquarium and birdwatching analogies, the talk of surrender or be destroyed, they're in some online echo chamber that's completely divorced from reality.
Yep.
OP
When your
was
hus-
like, the bird watching was my idea. But go on.
So why say fuck me for
Yeah,
it?
he's like, fuck me for it?
Uh,
Wow.
When your husband agreed to let you have a Manchester week while crying, he revealed the whole lie. He knows exactly what this is. Cheating.
Yeah.
And he just wants permission to do it while denying you are the same. The talk about hypnosis and permanent feminization reveals just how far this goes. Get a lawyer, protect your assets, and document everything. This will get worse before it gets better. Focus on protecting yourself and your children because they're far too gone in their shared fantasy to see the destruction they're causing. What a pathetic hill for these 2 men to die on. They destroyed their marriages, traumatized their families, and alienated their parents, all while insisting none of that counts because they made up special rules about it. They want to cheat without consequences, and they found an online community that validates this fantasy. The end. Whew.
Yes. This is why touching grass every once in a while and getting out of your echo chambers online is a good thing, everyone, because then you just start spouting off random nonsense that people in the real world have never heard of before. So
It is very scary and cult-like that it's the exact same script. Like
yeah.
No,
You've
that's
said
the
over and over
beauty of
again,
it.
bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Is the beauty of it, I think. I think it's
Yeah. Also, I hate that they are weaponizing the homophobia thing. It's like, no, dude, that's never been the issue in this
you wanna
conversation.
cheat.
You want to
Yeah,
sleep with
you're-
other
you're
people.
just being unfaithful.
Yeah, there's no magic island that makes that okay. And so,
Regardless,
Yeah.
it's an orgy is an orgy.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm glad OP and the sister got out, and I'm glad the other sister's husband was like, "Yeah, okay, fuck you guys."
Hey, yo, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, insane.
I mean, and kind of like what we were saying too is like, if you really wanted to do all that, we're more than okay for you to like express who you truly are. But that doesn't justify you for like what the last commenter said. These two essentially destroyed two families.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, had they just done the right thing, have that conversation with their wife, say like, hey, I really want to explore this part of me. What can we do together as a couple? Like, you think our relationship will last if I explore this? And you know, the husband should just be like, whatever decision you make, like, I'm all for it because this is on me. This is what I
Yes.
want to do with my life. And, you know, that would have been the respectful thing to partner. Again, we said in the beginning, OP was like, hey, if this is you, this is you. I ain't gonna stop you.
Yeah.
But you, well, like what you guys are saying, like using this gaycation or kind of like this indoctrinated bullshit nonsense, and you're weaponizing it to justify cheating. That's where things are like, dude, this is just a fucked up scenario.
Yeah. It also does sound like a cult. So
Yes.
yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Get therapy.